Hello all, and welcome to today's webinar hosted by Creatio and Experieco. Very excited to have you all here today. My name is David Lawrence. I'm the Head of Commercial for software implementation company Experieco in the ANZ region, and I have joining me here today, very glad to have Sean Flynn joining us as the Sales Director for ANZ for the amazing platform Creatio. Today's topic...
Here, David.
Yeah, welcome. Today's topic is focusing on manufacturing and distribution businesses, wholesale distribution. And today we're going to be focusing on leveraging technologies really to enable flexible change within your organization. So just in terms of an agenda, Sean and I are just going to spend a couple of minutes talking about the organizations that we work for, sort of why they're relevant, I guess, for the conversation today. And then we're going to deep dive into focusing not just on Industry 4.0. I think there's a lot of discussion and familiarization within your industries around that, but how do digital workflows help enable your organization solve a lot of the challenges that we're facing today. Sean's going to jump in and talk a bit about how the concepts of no-code technology and how this can really help make workflow automation super simple, very flexible and easy to realize. Talk a bit about some of the manufacturing capability that the Creatio tool has and how some success stories, just some case study examples of how they've been realized, as well as Creatio's value proposition. So really looking forward to getting into the chat today. Look, the key themes that we want you to take away, I guess, are, industry is facing a lot of challenges at the moment. You don't actually know what's coming around the corner. And so you don't want to be implementing a technology that's very difficult to maneuver and change. You want to be realizing value with technologies like Creatio that we'll talk about, that's built for change, that's highly flexible, and the time to deliver value is very, very quick. So just over to you, Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. So look, a little bit about me, a bit of background. I've been very lucky to have a very diverse career, about 30 years experience, having fulfilled many various roles, from business systems analyst to digital solutions sales manager. I've had a stint in area management, been a BDR for some time, but the common thread around all of those roles is that I'm very, very passionate about technology. And as I like to say, I'm fanatically devoted to enabling organizations to digitally transform. I've also been fortunate enough to work in quite varied places. I've worked in various states across Australia. I've lived and worked in New Zealand for a few years. I've just recently spent a few years in the United Kingdom during the pandemic. And now I've returned to Australia to help build the brand awareness and introduce customers here to the Creatio platform. So let's talk a little bit about Creatio. Today, Creatio is a family of over 700 talented individuals, over which half of those people are dedicated to research and development, which ensures Creatio continues to evolve and remain relevant as radical digital transformation becomes the new normal. We have 6 offices and representatives throughout 14 countries, so we like to be able to ensure that we can be very close to our customers. And we're very much a partner-driven organization, and we value alliances with leading companies like Experieco. In fact, we have in excess of 700 certified partners today. And as a result of all of this, Creatio continues to demonstrate impressive growth and market-leading retention numbers. So let's talk a little bit more about the market recognition. Today, Creatio is currently recognized across several Gartner quadrants. And not only are we recognized within these quadrants, but we're also seen as leaders in several of these quadrants as well. And we're also incredibly prevalent on several Forrester waves. And we're also very, very proud that we receive ongoing positive customer reviews on various peer-to-peer communities like the G2s, the Trust Radiuses, the Gartner Peer Insights, etc. So all in all, things are going incredibly well for the business. So back to you, David.
Cool. Thanks for that, Sean. We absolutely love Creatio, and I'm looking forward to you sharing a bit more of the story later on. Just introducing myself again. So David Lawrence, Head of Commercial at Experieco. So I've worked in the software industry for over 15 years. I've worked in the US, the UK, and across Australia and New Zealand, working with large enterprise organizations as well as SMB businesses. And we see a lot of common themes that I'm going to talk about in terms of technology and realizing value within all my clients. I joined Experieco in 2019, and since then I've become a really evangelist, I guess, around the concept of low code or no code technology. And I've been able to witness firsthand really the flexibility and speed that these sorts of technologies like Creatio can deliver. And that really goes hand in hand, I guess, with Experieco's journey to what I like to call our Creatio enlightenment. So before I joined Experieco for many, many years, Experieco was a traditional software development and software implementation company based throughout Australia and New Zealand. So our job was to take a technology, a platform, or custom develop an application or an integration between different technologies and put them into a business. And our customers really liked us for many, many years. We're very good at solving complex engineering problems, building applications, keeping them maintained and up to date. But through the years, the organization always got the same feedback from our clients. And I'm sure any of you familiar with implementing technology and managing technology, this will resonate with you, but it's the same three pain points every single time, right? Slow speed in terms of realization. So you go and talk to a vendor and you want to implement a technology, but it can take a long time to put in. There's a lot of work that has to be done in terms of understanding all the full requirements. And then you find later down the track that it's actually a very slow time to change if you want to make upgrades and updates, etc. So this really translates into lack of speed, into a high cost as well. So you have technical debt, code and platforms get old, they're not continuously maintained and upgraded, and there's a huge cost associated with that. And then the last point that we got a continuous feedback from around our clients was lack of flexibility. So the technology that we were designing and building and implementing from previous generations wasn't built for change. And I think over the last decade, as organizations have grown significantly, and especially over the last few years, faced a lot of different challenges that we're going to talk about a bit later, is you need to have flexibility with your technology. At the end of the day, software and applications are enablers, right? They enable your business to trade, to provide services, to sell products, to manufacture products more efficiently. And if your technology that you have implemented is not flexible, then as you change as an organization and it can't change, then it creates a burden, right? And it stops becoming an enabler. And so these were the common challenges that our clients were facing. And we're always trying to keep an ear to the ground, I guess, to look out for better ways to solve problems for manufacturers, utility businesses, other organizations that we're working with. In around sort of 2018, 2019, we had our eyes on this sort of low code, no code market, right? So this is taking this concept of why do you need to develop something from scratch, or why do you need to put in a cumbersome piece of software where you can leverage a platform that allows you to make changes without having to write code, without having to do expensive customizations. And I think, low code and no code had been on the radar for many years prior, but it never really quite reached maturity. And it was sort of not taken too seriously by a lot of organizations. But there was really a bit of a tipping point, as I was mentioning, around sort of 2018, 2019, where technologies like Creatio became mature enough to put into serious businesses in both the SMB and enterprise space and actually deliver the breadth of solutions that they were talking about, not just CRM, but how can you build operational automation beyond that, right? Not just, basic sort of websites and things, but how do you build native apps? And we really joined that low code revolution. And so where are we today as an organization? Well, we're one of the leaders when it comes to low code and no code in the ANZ region. We're very much focused on it. Where it used to be 10% of our business, now it's about 80%. That's been underpinned by demand by our clients. And we really service our clients to accelerate that digital deployment. We've been award-winning. We've won a number of different Partner of the Year awards for different technologies. We've seen significant growth. We've been awarded for that as well. And this is all underpinned by the value that we want to give to our clients, which is implementing technology very, very quickly, technology that's built for change and is highly flexible, so it can adapt as your organizations do. So what does this really mean for your organization in terms of Industry 4.0 and digital workflows? Now, I think you guys have talked a lot, probably over the last few years, about Industry 4.0 and really what it means for the future of organizations. I think, from a lot of the discussion has really been around the manufacturing supply chain shop floors, right? Digital twins, robotic automation, IoT sensors and things. But there's also another layer to this that needs to be addressed, and that's how do you have your operational and your sales processes automated and made more efficient? And this is where technologies can come in. And I think that's really in sort of in alignment where you guys as organizations, as wholesalers, distributors, and manufacturers are looking to recover beyond the challenges of the last few years and really future-proof your operations. And to do that, as we were talking about, is you need technology that can change with your business, and that's how you enable future-proofing. So just to summarize, I know you guys probably talk about this probably in the boardroom, probably by the water cooler, on your teams meetings every single day, but there's a common theme in the manufacturing distribution sectors in terms of what these challenges are, right? We've seen continuous disruption to global supply chains. Previously the cost of materials have gone up due to demand. You're struggling to get raw materials. Now we're seeing challenges in terms of 3PLs and warehousing with large volumes of technology stock, etc. Sitting within the warehouse and not moving, as well as the inflationary sort of conditions that we're operating under. And it's not just inflation in terms of raw materials, but also the labor costs, right? Even not just in the manufacturing sector, but also in technology, we're facing we're facing labor shortages, right? Wages are going up very, very quickly. There's huge amounts of demand. There's a lot of transition between, different roles, and it's really meaning that things like productivity can be quite difficult. The cost to train resources and things as they swap over, as they move between organizations, is very, very high, and that is affecting growth within businesses. And I think the other point in terms of the challenges that may not be discussed as much, but is still very prevalent, is really how are you guys as an organization interacting with your customers, your partners, and your employees, right? The way in which we operate and the way in which we do business has changed. Everyone needs to become more mobile. We have to be more virtual and distributed. Sean and myself are beaming in, and all of you from different parts of Australia and New Zealand. And of course, this demand to operate in these different models adds complexity to how you undergo digital transformation, how you put in new technologies, and how this affects your business operations. So I think, all in all, these challenges are very real, and there are different ways, I guess, in which we have to be tackling them, right? But it's not just that. Customers in terms of B2B expect consumer-like experiences. So we've all now had an entire generation of consuming products, like from FANG, Netflix, Facebook, Amazon, etc., as B2C consumers. And we now expect to have those same sorts of experiences when we're doing business in the B2B space as well. Self-service in terms of e-commerce, consumer-like experience, etc. Wholesalers, right? Your performance and motivation directly linked to efficient manufacturing, production, planning, and delivery processes. You need visibility. You need data and insights, because that's going to affect how you're managing your margins, your stock levels, and also your sales and marketing strategies. And when it comes to distribution, it's very, very difficult to evolve distribution channels without a unified digital approach to partner relation management. And I think this can all really be summed up. Karen Mills has got a great quote here, which is, customers have proven that they'll flock to whoever gives them a better experience. And I think with that mantra, while you're looking at your operational challenges, you also need to be thinking about solving those customer experience challenges as well, and creating that unified 360-degree customer interaction. So finally, just one final point before I hand over to Sean is how do we connect the manufacturing operations and digital workflows? What are the key themes that our customers are seeing within their organizations, right? So firstly, we've got intelligent composable business operations. So those operational processes are changing and you need technology that can adapt to that change. Hyper automation is super important. So in your organizations, you'll talk a lot about within the warehouse, within the manufacturing shop floor, how are we automating the manufacturing process, the distribution process? But we also need to be thinking about hyper automation when it comes to operational processes that have traditionally been done by people within the administration side of the office. So we're talking about things like finance, order to cash is extremely important. How do we automate that process? HR, when you have someone new joining your organization, how do you simplify the process of getting them set up with 20 different technologies that they might be interacting with? Sales, how do we automate all the stage gates to make sure that those sales teams are inputting the right data so you can make more feature-rich, data-driven decisions around how you're selling and engaging with your customers? And those components of automation are exceptionally important. And finally, what does that mean in terms of that total experience, right? So enabling your organization to be successful by using technology is very, very important. And this sits right across the customer experience, supplier and partner experience, as well as your employees. So remember earlier, we were talking about the labor shortages. How do you minimize churn within your staff? How do you give them a better experience and create a better culture and use technologies to underpin that so you have more loyalty with your staff moving forward? I think these are all really important points. And passing over to Sean, it's really how do we take these themes and how do we leverage a flexible technology to realize that for your organization?
Thanks, David. Very insightful. So I suppose here's the question. What if there was freedom to empower knowledge workers to build applications without a line of code nor possess any special technical skills? So imagine that business people who all know their processes really, really well, after completing a training program, could potentially automate their workflows by just drawing the required interface and a process on a canvas using a visual tool. Such an approach would allow us to automate workflows far quicker than the competition. It would allow us to increase organizational capacity. It would allow us to engage customers, partners, and employees in a radically different, whole new way. So let's talk no-code and how that can make workflow in automation easy. This is specifically the reason why we have developed Creatio, a single platform, one platform to automate industry workflows and CRM with no code, providing what we call that maximum degree of freedom. And it's built on a no-code studio platform that allows knowledge workers to quickly learn and configure the system without a line of code, or any other limitations. And of course, such configuration is organized in a secure and coordinated fashion, and it's in compliance with relevant IT guidelines and guardrails as well. But these are just but a few of Creatio's key features, and in totality, these can accelerate silo to outcome-based transformation. These elements can create what I like to call edge-to-edge experiences, making it easier to get work done. Not to mention enabling business growth through unlocking capacity, digital automation, data, and potentially advanced analytics fueled by machine learning and artificial intelligence. I really like this slide because you can see very, very clearly how no-code development differs significantly from traditional development solutions. I once read an interesting article that discussed why there is such a demand to move away from the likes of a waterfall approach to more of an agile deployment model. And it stated that traditional deployment approaches, by the time an application is, designed, developed, tested, and then eventually deployed, it is almost immediately outdated. So it's clear that customers today want to embrace agile. And in my personal opinion, I think that no-code and digital workflows play a key part of the fourth industrial revolution, where many jobs are changing or disappearing completely due to things like automation and technology in general. So according to the World Economic Forum, the integration of automation into working practices is expected to create 97 million new jobs. But at the same time, it is meant to replace 85 million jobs. And another interesting fact stated by WEF is that by just 2025, just a couple of years away, the time spent on current work tasks by humans and machines is expected to be equal. So let's take a look at a Creatio workflow map, a typical workflow map that's specifically tailored towards the manufacturing industry. And look, my apologies for how busy this slide is, but it is, a rich story. Manufacturing businesses have dozens and dozens of interconnected customer-facing and operational workflows. And a lot of what manufacturing does was impacted significantly during the pandemic. You could say, there were seismic shifts in the way in which manufacturers needed to conduct business. And we're not talking, trivial workflows here. We're talking about key workflows that impact production management, supply chain management, research and development, IT and digital. I mean, these are all fairly significant workflows within, the manufacturing space. And, we hear familiar stories when we speak to manufacturing sales leaders, for example. They often say, our sales teams, have got all the important customer and sales data they need, but it's dispersed across multiple reports, emails, and ERP systems, some of them legacy. And so none of them can talk to each other. And this leads to a complete lack of visibility and a breakdown in the consistency of their sales process. And so the question is, how does Creatio address such challenges? By providing an intelligent low-code CRM for managing the customer data across multiple systems, by providing business process management engines to drive consistent and connected processes, and by automating order and quote management processes, as well as lead and opportunity management processes. And so Creatio offers sophisticated tools to manage manufacturing and distribution through multiple sales channels, direct and channel sales, e-commerce, and even field sales as well. But let's sort of focus on one or two fairly recent success stories within the industry. And what we're seeing here is a story here by Blueprint Automation, a customer called Blueprint Automation, a world leader in end-of-line packaging automation. The company designs, develops, and manufactures packaging solutions for flexible and other tough-to-handle packages. And it's backed by thousands of successful installations throughout over 60 countries. And BPA has full service manufacturing facilities in America, in Europe, an additional facility in China, and 10 sales and service subsidiaries for a huge global footprint. And the challenges that BPA faced were that it used to store its data in Excel spreadsheets, and it would keep teams informed about new leads via emails. So, I mean, once the responsible sales rep received the lead info, the tracking of the lead stopped. And moreover, manual data entry took more working hours than the actual selling process. So their aim was to reduce human error and optimize customer communication. And that's why BPA decided to adopt an intelligent low-code CRM solution. So the solutions that were recognized were, implementing a digital hub for BPA sales and marketing teams to log customer data into a system and then be able to easily track it. They wanted a holistic customer 360 view for that, intelligence audience segmentation so they could, conduct personalized marketing campaigns. And they wanted to streamline their lead generation activity as well. And let's not trivialize mobile capability. They wanted a mobile application for their sales reps to promptly add new contacts to Creatio. And the system actually reminds their sales reps to take next steps in a sales process. And of course, like virtually everybody out there, they wanted customized dashboards. They wanted data analytics. They wanted to be able to provide an instant overview of the sales team's daily progress and marketing campaign. And the tangible benefits that were recognized super fast were enhanced customer communication, up to 75% reduction in the time spent on day-to-day activities, and obviously implementing a more streamlined lead to cash, not close, but cash conversion. Vernova, another fantastic story. Venova's the leading European PVC and chlor-alkali company. So this company operates production sites across 5 countries and has over 1,250 employees. And they basically realize an annual turnover of 1.3 billion euros. So it's a significant business. And Venova products are essential for manufacturing numerous industrial products and consumer goods that improve quality of life. So again, the challenges that Venova were facing was that its IT infrastructure consisted of various disconnected solutions. Therefore, the company lacked end-to-end visibility of the customer journey. The company wanted to connect sales and marketing units, and equip them with the tools that would help them improve both cross-departmental and customer interactions. And obviously, this would be leading to a high-end customer experience. So again, the solutions that were recognized, having data integration that's using existing application landscape, but incorporating Creatio within the company's existing ERP solution. And Creatio integration with Venova's DMS, document management system, and the associated collaboration tools, and having a complex enterprise-wide master data management application. And so again, end-to-end sales management workflows were provided with playbooks and guides. The Creatio marketing module was used to boost lead generation by running personalized campaigns. And then we had contact center automation, which is, incredibly compelling. A set of tools as well, on top of all of this, on the single platform, to provide in-depth analytics so that they are data-driven, decision-making enabled. And again, the tangible benefits recognized were optimized lead conversion rates, accelerated sales via the insights and intelligent forecasting capabilities that they have, and clearly increasing operational efficiency and collaboration. So now let's focus on the Creatio value proposition itself. And as you know, or you should know by now, we've got Creatio, this single platform, but the Creatio itself is built on what we call a no-code studio platform. And this allows the knowledge workers we talked about earlier to quickly learn and configure the system without a line of code or any other limitations. So it offers ready CRM applications and vertical workflows combined with a universe of templates available through our marketplace. And on top of the studio platform, we have incredibly powerful applications for CRM. We're talking about CRM proper. We're talking about end-to-end marketing, omnichannel, sales, end-to-end service, all of these things to boost customer experience and to drive engagement. And we're talking about ready-to-use workflows for over 20 industries to automate specific customer-facing and operational use cases. And I think, it's fair to say it is incredibly uncommon for us to ever embark upon a solution that attacks a particular use case using a blank canvas. We typically will take an existing template of sorts and we will configure that to address the specific unique requirements of any given use case. And we've got a universe of Creatio certified templates and connectors that are all aimed to accelerate time to market. So everything that you need to digitize your workflow across the enterprise is literally found within the marketplace itself. So going back, circling back to what we were talking about earlier, freedom. So hopefully now you understand what we mean when we talk about freedom. We're talking about freedom to own your own automation. Such freedom is only delivered, using unlimited customization, the ability to build applications and automate workflows without a line of code, and without having those special skills that we talked about easier, and through the absence of having vendor lock-ins, having contracts with hidden costs and various other unpleasant gotchas that are out there. And I suppose finally, there's one very important additional aspect. Here at Creatio, we believe in sincere relationships. We believe, that technology can't exist without people, and thus we strive to provide both our partners like Experieco and customers with what we call genuine care. And it's this genuine care that's a defining part of Creatio's DNA. So it's about building sincere and long-lasting relationships. It's about giving a hand first and then only thinking about the business after. It's about being very open and transparent with communication and the ability to listen, adjust, and bring true value. And, we're big believers that, technology should have a very big human heart, and it does. And, and it looks like, our approach is quite different, quite unique from traditional enterprises, where vendors, can sometimes treat their customers as numbers. So I suppose on that note, Dave, a lot to absorb, a lot told. Back to you.
Yeah, fantastic value proposition. I think just in terms of that genuine customer care, that's something that we see as a partner, and also our customers love with Creatio. There's very much a bear hug around customer success, support and continuous improvement and delivery that we've talked so much about today. I want to focus, I guess, on one of the key themes as well around sort of time to value and how we realize that. But I have had a couple of questions just pop into the text box, and I actually do encourage if anyone's got any additional questions to throw them in now, because I think it's probably before we wrap up a good time to address them. But the first one that popped up is probably a good one for you, Sean. Is you mentioned earlier about sort of AI and machine learning. Does Creatio have machine learning, and what does this mean for my business?
Yeah, wow, great question. And I can see there's a lot coming in at the moment. Yeah, look, AI machine learning. I think it is fair to say that when it comes to AI and machine learning, let's call it no code machine learning AI in Creatio. I think it's fair to say that right now we're probably at the tip of the iceberg. When we talk about low code machine learning, it's incredibly powerful. It's great for making predictions and recommendations. So to put things into context, one of the things our customers love to use machine learning for, as an example, would be in sales. So because we are talking about Creatio being this no-code single platform, over time, the application is aggregating quite a substantial amount of data. And the machine learning capability of Creatio enables us to understand intrinsically what it is our customers are potentially interested in. So, going back to that, what I was saying before about predictions and recommendations, the Creatio machine learning application can actually prompt salespeople to make things like next best offers. So if a particular product isn't of interest to the customer, it's not the right time, the system can actually prompt the person to offer Sean Flynn another type of product, and it knows that there is a high likelihood that that product will be of interest to me because of the information or because of the things that we're collecting, that we're aggregating in the system. So we're talking about much better insights, much better insight-driven decision making. And if we spin that into, say, a marketing capability, being able to execute incredibly focused marketing campaigns that really do resonate. And again, because we're talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence baked into the Creatio platform, a no-code platform, this avoids the need for you to perhaps be beholden to your data scientists, because you've got it all there in the system. But as I said, it's a long journey, and there's huge steps that we're taking to improve upon the existing AI machine learning capabilities today. So it's a very, very exciting subject, I must say.
Yeah, no, that really resonates. I think probably just one thing I'd add to that is you talked a bit about data, right? And as we all know, the quality of the data that goes into your systems really affects the quality of data that comes out, and that sort of ties into things like next best action, some of the ML and AI tech type technologies that you can utilize. I think one of the cool things that our customers find in terms of Creatio is having that one centralized sort of data model, I guess, across not just CRM, but some of the other different parts, operational parts of the organization. And I think one of the probably just drawing out a good little example about some of the flexibility that Creatio has is, if you guys have all used CRMs before, and I've used many, is a lot of the time they're quite sort of restrictive in terms of how you manage the life cycle of an engagement or a sales process. Now, what Creatio has in terms of this low code and workflow flexibility is that you can start to build rules into your process. So instead of just moving deals through a life cycle from early stage right through to closing, you can add workflows in. That means that your sales team, and let's be honest, salespeople are not always the best at keeping data up to date. You could add workflows that ensure that the salespeople, before they're moving their deals to each different stage, that they're making sure that the data is up to date and is relevant. And then by doing that and enforcing it, it means that the data that you're receiving is absolutely fantastic. And as an organization, you can make smarter decisions about what you're selling, how you're selling it, how you're engaging, etc. So just gives an example of that flexibility and that workflow automation with the Creatio technology. Probably just ties into another question I think that's be good for you to answer, Sean, which is on your website, a lot of the messaging is about CRM. Do you have to start with CRM, or can you get straight into the operational modules? So I think operational modules, they're talking about some of those the workflows and things in the workflow manufacturing workflow slide that you had up earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to recap, we've got the Creatio platform. Essentially, we've got the end-to-end CRM capabilities around the marketing, the sales, and the service activities. So they're sort of labeled within, a CRM ecosystem. But we also have this amazing no-code business process automation tool. So, in terms of what that's capable of delivering is fairly ubiquitous. Pick a use case. Where do you start? Anywhere. So typically the story goes, we engage with customers. Customers usually have this idea of a particular use case, maybe one or two use cases, that are fairly challenging. And so what we like to do is focus specifically on that particular use case or use cases, just a couple. And so it might be that the CRM is the way to approach that use case. It might be that we use our studio platform to introduce some business process automation workflow. We've got underpinning that enrichment tools, and we talked about templates, connectors, and plugins, and marketplace, and the academy as well, which is our training mechanism, all there to support and enrich the capabilities of the platform. So the answer in short is you can start anywhere. One point to make, though, is that what we really like and what we really observe is that Creatio is not a boil the ocean type application, meaning it doesn't just get implemented into an organization and become the panacea to all and everything. We like to scale, and the product, by virtue of what it delivers, scales almost by osmosis, right? So we typically focus on a use case or two. The benefits that are yielded, the benefits that are recognized, tangible benefits, are very, very quick. The organization gets to see and recognize, financial, benefits, organizational workflow efficiency benefits. They recognize those super fast, and then it starts to scale. Now we can use this to, attack this particular problem. I mean, the great thing about Creatio is it is that single platform. And again, it is incredibly rare for us to implement Creatio and not have it integrate with something. I think, it's pretty much almost 100% of every deployment has some sort of integration capability. It could be basic, could be integrating seamlessly into your Outlook email system. It could be more sophisticated, where it's pushing and pulling business critical real-time data out of some sort of ERP system, payroll system, God forbid, spreadsheets. So again, the integration side of things is usually addressed in two ways. We have something already available out of the box as an integrator plugin, or we use the very latest API technology, usually REST, SOAP, in a way to push and pull data real time or other in and out of the system. So I hope that is a fairly lengthy answer, but in short, you can start anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess as an implementation organization, that sort of boil in the ocean really resonates with us. Traditionally, when we go in and put in a CRM or some operational technologies, is we'd have to go do this massive lengthy requirements gathering session and try and get everything done in one project. And it was costly. It was really
Yep.
burdensome on staff. And as we talked about, everyone's short on time these days, right? And so someone who's got a day job in operations or sales, all of a sudden having to dedicate huge amounts of time to implementing a technology is not a fun process. So being able to start small, pick a couple of use cases and things is, really resonates, and you can get that, measure that success and value quite quickly. And we'll talk a bit about that process later. Probably just time for a couple more questions. So how does no-code automation work? I think I can probably have a crack at this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So as Sean talked about earlier, the concept of no code is about leveraging these workflows and these process automations. So traditionally, when you build applications or maybe put in a technology, you'd have people writing code. So it could be C#, .NET, HTML, CSS, many Java, many different languages, and they require high degree of speciality. A lot of IP is required, and then people go in and create exactly what you needed. What happens with no code and low code is it uses a visual style interface, a graphical interface to design these applications, to design these workflows and modules. And so literally you're dragging and dropping assets, right? And these assets could be a box on a dashboard, a graph type, could be split in colors, right through to a workflow. So using arrows and boxes really to design automation steps with yes, no criteria, if ands and things, and it's incredibly easy to learn. And as a technology organization that provides these services, we can get in and we can deliver value super quickly for our clients. We find that it's faster, it's cheaper, and then we can just do more with less resource, which is really, really important. And the other thing that our customers quite like around this sort of no code is that they can actually, if they want to, you guys as an organizations can pick up and do a bit of maintenance, build your own workflows if you so wish to. And this is this concept of sort of citizen development and really enabling people. And what we found is that we'll help businesses get started. We'll go in, we'll get Creatio up and running, we'll deliver a couple of use cases, we'll do some of the more complex integrations into other systems, maybe a back-end ERP, etc., that Sean was talking about earlier. And then our customers can get away and start to enhance it themselves. And if they get an above over their head, they've run out of time, or they've got some more complex things that they need to address, and they can always come back to an organization like Experieco. But it's really, no code's really empowering people that previously would have real challenges sort of enabling these sorts of technologies.
Yeah, can I just add something more to this? Because I think this is a great question. I myself was really only introduced to the world of no code relatively recently. I mean, my background's operational occupational risk management solutions, and coming into the world of automation and now no code it's just incredible. I mean, I think it's either Gartner or Forrester, one of those organizations are predicting 27 billion spend on no code by organizations. Organizations today are struggling because apparently globally there's only 25 million professional developers available, and rare commodities they are. And that on the flip side is a juxtaposition, because we have again research that states just in the next couple of years organizations having an appetite to create over 500 million applications. 500 million applications divided by 25 million developers. Yeah, there's definitely an issue there. So again, it comes back to that's freedom. But talking about no code for a second, this is quite new to some, and unfamiliar to many. And one of the things, this has been a great question, because one of the things that we're doing quite soon, and we think this is quite unique, is we're actually launching a book, a playbook. And it's a playbook all around no code deployment, introducing no code to your business, establishing centers of excellence around no code. It's a guide to success. And it's funny because I've got a slide that I've just quickly put in here. So this is a launch of our no code playbook. It's happening on the 4th of October. The book itself, it's not salesy in nature. It is quite frankly a guide, a playbook to help businesses embrace no code and have that enable them to do what they need to do to become more efficient, to become more profitable, to become more sustainable. And the launch is fairly significant. The book itself is co-authored by our very own CEO, Catherine, which is fantastic. And we also have Steve Wozniak present for a Q&A session as well. So I just thought I'd slip that in there because I think it's a great question, and no code is quite an unknown. So yeah, back to you, Dave.
Cool. Probably just finish off with one last question.
Sure.
So what challenges do your customers face with implementing Creatio? So I think probably as an implementation partner, I'd be well positioned to answer this. And I guess the challenges that a lot of our customers are facing with putting in Creatio are really some of the challenges that you have with any technology project. So one of the things is time to realize the value. So as I mentioned earlier, you guys all have day jobs, and you've got to balance a workload and provide subject matter expertise or product ownership with your technology partner when putting it in. And that can be pretty similar with Creatio. So making sure that you have your ducks in a row, getting going, things like integration, always understanding how you're going to get your technologies talking to each other is super important. And also that change management component as well. So getting people to adopt actually using the next technologies. And so I guess how do we deal with those, which is planning, right? So making sure that you're addressing these sorts of challenges and risks within sort of delivery, and making sure that you've got the time to do it. You've done the technical specification, etc. But I'd say that one thing that we really like around Creatio, even compared to other low-code technologies, is that it is faster to realize value. That time to value is incredibly quick, and it's probably actually just a good opportunity to pivot into the last slide and just wrap things up, because I am conscious of time. But it's really a 3-step process, I guess. So assessment, right? So we want to talk to you guys about the challenges that your organization is facing. So we talked about where to start earlier on. So are you focusing on sales and marketing? Do you need to solve some challenges within operations? Do services need modernizing? And look, I can actually give you, I'm just thinking about customers that we've been working with over the last couple of months, and we've got customers that have started in every different spot. We've got a client at the moment we're implementing Creatio for, who definitely needs to be a bit richer in terms of how they deal with their customers, but they've got some basic operational challenges around visibility with their supply chain. So they've chosen to start there. So working with you guys to understand what those challenges you guys the organizations are facing, then really the next step is to discover the opportunity and return on investment. So what are the key features and functions that you need to help modernize your business? And this can be done really quickly. So we can, in a couple of hours, we can sit down and workshop and discover those feature and functional requirements and actually understand them. We can do things like Moscow exercises where we understand what's a must-have, should have, ought to have, would have, etc., and prioritize in terms of business value and complexity, right? So we can give you a steer as to which challenges to tackle first, and then with that information, we can start to estimate the cost and time to go live. And as I was talking about, Creatio is even faster than other low-code platforms that we work with. So some projects with other technologies will have to come in and we'll have to do a month's worth of design and discovery to figure out the technical specification and what it's going to cost. We do that in in a couple of workshops with Creatio. And once we've got that and you're ready to go, you can be live in weeks and not months. And as we talked about, that sort of crawl, walk, run, getting value quickly, and then that continuous delivery and adding in new modules and extending the automation and workflows to help your business, right? As we talked about some of those bigger challenges. And it really comes down to implementing a technology that's flexible and that you can change it if you need to, right? And so you're covering yourself for several years with something like Creatio, which means it can grow with your business, it can change with your business, and it can extend into other parts of it for a much better customer experience. And I think that, this is because it's a straightforward exercise for us as technology implementation partners to do, and Creatio really enables it. Look, we're happy to have these discussions with you. Sean and I will reach out and obviously be keen. Our team's keen to get some feedback and things after the session. And if you want to sit down with us and talk a bit about some of these challenges, how you want to tackle them, where the business value sits, and what it's going to cost, would be more than happy to do so. Cool. Well, I think that's probably about us for today. So I appreciate everyone jumping on the webinar and sort of understanding a bit about sort of why we're big believers in no code, low code, and the Creatio platform. As I said, we'll reach out to you afterwards. But if you've got any questions, any more questions, please do reach out to us. And thank you very much. Everyone have a great day.
Have a great day, everybody. Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Sean. Bye.
Thank you.